Lowe's knows to bring your vision to life, it's important to find the right color. That's why MyLowe's Rewards members get a free Valspar paint or exterior stain sample to test your look to confidently refresh your space. Offer valid in-store only 8/7 to 8/20. Limit 1 per customer while supplies last. Discount taken in time of purchase. See associate for details. Rewards program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Hey everybody, best friend Stephen Pappas here. I just want to break in and just kind of let you know something. So this week we had some technical difficulties. We had Rabia Chaudry on and it was amazing. We had a really great conversation, but we had some issues with echo on one of the audio files. And so we went back and polished it as best we can, but we just want to let you know that there are going to be some times where you're going to hear some echo. For new listeners, this doesn't reflect our audio quality every week, but we did our best to just kind of make it sound great because this is a really, really cool conversation we got to have. So definitely hang in there with us, and thanks for joining us. On to the show. This episode of Is This Adulting is brought to you by our Patreon supporters. I want to say a big thanks to new Patreon supporter Dolores D. Thank you so much for your pledge. If you would like to join the family and help us keep the lights on here at Is This Adulting headquarters, you can head over to patreon.com/isthisadulting. Thanks. Hey everybody, and welcome to Is This Adulting, the mental health comedy podcast you never knew you needed. I'm your best friend, and I don't have anything this week. I don't have a witty answer. I'm Steven. I'm Stephen Pappas.
I've gotten so used to you coming up with them that I've stopped even trying and just have been responding. So I panicked. So I'm just Christopher. I'm here, and you got to deal with it. So there. How about that?
That was beautiful.
I'm a little sassy today.
You're so sassy.
That's hardcore.
We've been on a Skype call, he and I, for approximately an hour and a half now, talking to each other.
Oh God!
And y'all, I've got to tell you, it was difficult. It was difficult to bear with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's been kind of a pill, but just in the best way. I love him. Anyway. We could not do this alone. No, because we've been talking to each other for an hour and a half. We're tired of each other. So, of course, we had to have another best friend with us this week. So, she's an attorney and the host of the podcast Undisclosed and the 45th. Please welcome Rabia Chaudry to the show. Hey, Rabia.
Woo. Hey, Steve and Chris. How are you guys?
So good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm better right now because the kids are asleep.
Yeah, right?
Rabia, I have to tell you, I feel very, very inadequate being in your presence.
That is ridiculous.
For so many different reasons. But just the fact that you know so many laws in itself is just
I know so many laws.
Impressive.
You know, Chris, I can almost guarantee I'm like twice your age. Just give it about another 20 years. You'll know a lot of laws too.
You think so? And I appreciate your wonderful kindness to assume such things. But
you have a very youthful appearance. You've got a youthful appearance.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
The only law I know is that something about in Florida, you can't carry an ice cream cone in your back pocket, and I've broken that law on purpose.
But you can carry a gun in your back pocket, so you did it all wrong.
Yeah, that is very Florida. Sorry to
see that you sneak the ice cream into the barrel. That's
right, and suck it through the barrel.
Yeah.
That sounds dangerous.
Yeah. For all you Floridians out there, though, if you've been looking how to break that law, we've got a resident lawyer here for you. We're going to tell you all the loopholes.
That's some great legal advice right there.
It is. So, Randa, before we get into everything, I just have a question now that we've said it. Attorney versus lawyer. Is there a difference?
No. Attorney just, I don't know, attorney just sounds a little bit more impressive, I think.
Oh, it does.
And I love it when somebody says counselor. I'm like, yes, I am, damn it.
Ooh, but, counselor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, lawyer just doesn't sound as impressive, but it's all the same.
Mm-hmm.
Having had conversations with you, I like to picture you in court because I think it would be very fun to watch.
You know what? I don't work in court. It doesn't work for me in court, and I'll tell you why. The only court, most of my work has been immigration and civil rights law, and
right.
I have represented clients in immigration court. But what happens is when I'm in immigration court, because I'm a brown woman who wears a scarf. Mm-hmm. Half the time, the judge there thinks I'm the client, and I'm being deported. So I can't tell you how many times I've been like, ma'am, where's your lawyer? And I'm like, I'm the lawyer. So it kind of takes the steam out of your sails in a way.
I believe it.
Yeah, I would love to litigate because I think it'd be fun. I think I do pretty well, but I also know, optics matter, and it is what it is. People would look at me and just not take it the same way if I look different. You got to convince a jury.
Well,
I might not be able to do it.
Well, Robbie, if it makes you feel better, I will say this again. The more you talk to me, the more inadequate I feel. So I mean, that is the greatest compliment I could ever give anyone.
Well, I'm telling you, I feel a little bit. I've been thinking about this podcast all weekend, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not useless as, the shows we do are just so structured and so stick to these facts, and we're like conversating, and that can be a little intimidating because sometimes you can sound really. I mean, actually, when I spoke to Steve last week, is it Steve or Steven? What do you prefer, by the way? Because I don't want to.
It's dealer's choice. I usually say Steven, but
okay, Steven.
You do you.
Well, when I spoke to you last week, I was like, I know I came across, I was like half dead. I was like, he's probably like, oh my God, how do I withdraw this invitation? So,
No.
And then it's a comedy podcast. I don't do comedy. So anyway, I feel just a little bit outgunned here.
No, not at all. Trust me, when I met you at brunch in Nashville, you got jokes. You got some.
It's mostly just bitterness, but okay.
Well, we've all
and ours is insecurity, so don't worry at all. You'll fit in perfectly here.
Awesome.
Oh gosh, well, we're gonna get into everything in just a second, but before we do you want to tell everybody where they can find you and your projects online and or your home address? All that fun stuff.
My home address. Let me give you my GPS location. So I'm on social media. I'm on Twitter. Mostly is where you're going to find me. My handle is at Rabia Squared. Both of our podcasts, it's at 45th Pod and at Undisclosed Pod are also on Twitter. And both the podcasts have Facebook pages. And then I have my own website, which is my name, RabiaChaudry.com, where you can kind of see, the body of my work, what I've done for the last 20 odd years, read a little bit about the book that I wrote. And there's also a contact page, and you can contact me through there. So
absolutely. Awesome.
Robert, you have a freaking website that's just your name. You're making it harder and harder for me to feel comfortable.
My publisher insisted that I have one, and it was just part of the publishing publicity stuff. So anyhow, but it's cool to have one. Also, I just never maintain it. So
as I didn't get to tell you this when I saw you, as someone who's read your book, that's some good writing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That was the most intellectual review I have.
Good writing.
That's good writing.
The New York Times says that's some good writing with an apostrophe instead of a G at the end.
And it's just, that's the quote on the book jacket. Stephen Pappas is this adulting podcast.
Well, I'm working on my second book, so when I need a blurb, I know who to come to.
Oh my gosh, please. I will just absolutely.
It's good writing.
For those of you, good writing. You got to put that on every book you ever publish.
Yep.
And for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, Robbie is also a New York Times bestselling author, which is awesome and exciting.
Been there. Am I right, Steve?
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, wrote Adnan's Story.
Yeah.
Which is a great book if you're into serial and like the case and have followed the case like so many people have in podcasting.
The podcast serial, not just for clarification.
Yeah,
for
the podcast serial.
99% of people will know what you're referring to, but for that one.
Wait, how long have you guys been podcasting?
Like a year and a half almost.
Yeah. Did serial have anything to do with you guys getting into podcasting? Like, was that kind of like your entryway into podcasting or listen? Because that was my first podcast.
It was mine as well.
Okay.
It was one of my first ones.
And Robbie, I have to tell you something. I'm not just saying this. This is probably going to make you uncomfortable, but guess what my second podcast was?
Was it undisclosed?
It was undisclosed.
That's awesome.
And so, just so you know, it's very strange
to
be talking to you in this moment. Because literally, I'd obviously known what podcasts were, but I just never had really listened to them. And I was in a place where I was commuting a lot, and so I started listening to serial, and then I kept going from there. And so it's just crazy to finally be here.
Well, thanks so much.
I knew from the beginning you and me would be sitting here talking about our New York bestsellers, and I'm just glad to know that this time has finally come.
Listen, it means a lot to me that you listen to Undisclosed. I know it's a tough, gritty, in the weeds podcast. It's not easy listening. So I really appreciate it. And I can't tell you how many people have come up to me and said, I love your podcast. I'm like, thank you. They're like, Serial was great. I'm like, nope, not my podcast, but okay, thanks anyway. Yesterday, I met this guy actually at the wedding. And he spoke to me passionately for 20 minutes about how he loved watching my podcast. And he kept saying, when I watched it. And I'm like, I know, like, you don't know that I know you're lying this whole time because you can't watch it. What are you saying? Anyway.
So interesting. Maybe he literally was so captivated.
Nope.
He just watched the player
stared.
just every second. That's that.
Now
like,
he
and
just
he's actually
wanted,
that passionate about it.
He wanted to ingratiate himself like he had actually listened to. He knew like some stuff about the case. He actually was from the Baltimore area. But he kept saying, yeah, I watched it. And this, I mean, like, he used the word watch at least 6 times. So I'm like, this is whatever. I didn't call him out. I was like, let him have it, but whatever. Anyway, but thank you for listening.
Was that person under the age of 70?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's more funny then. Because
That's on him, yeah.
Because someone over the age of 70, I can totally get
past.
Just
Yep.
not understanding. And even if they know they were listening, they're still just saying watching.
Yeah, because they're just staring
wow.
at their screen. Yeah, no. This guy knew. But anyway.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Well, speaking of podcasts, we do a podcast, and we're going to start this week, just like we do every week on this podcast, with a mental health check-in. So, hey, Chris, how you been this week?
I'm excited because I'm going to the doctor tomorrow, which usually those two things aren't put together in a sentence. But the reason why is I think it was probably, I want to say it was a little over a month or so ago that I had a meds adjustment, and things for the most part have gone pretty well. But I think what I'm excited about is the kind of the amount that they added has started to significantly help. But I realize there needs to be a little bit more tweaking. And so what I'm excited about is the fact that I think we're finally getting close to something to where it's going to be a really good fit for me for a while. And I mean, it just with some things I've already shared of how, I'm starting to sleep a little bit better recently. I'm not being as dependent on listening to something very, very serious or some like a mindfulness or something to have to listen to that for like 45 minutes before I go to sleep. I'm starting to actually get to sleep within like a normal amount of time.
That's awesome.
And so that's been really encouraging. Work has been hectic, and we're actually recording some of these out of order, and so I might talk about work later. I don't remember, but this is like Inception, but harder for me to imagine, and which is saying something. But I'm actually about to get a little bit of a break from work, which I'm really, really excited about and grateful for, and excited about kind of what's to come, since it's been a pretty stressful last, like 2 or 3 months or so. Yeah. And so I'm just really grateful for that. And so it's been difficult some of these times, but overall it's been good. And the other thing I want to share too, I had a really exciting moment this past, I guess it was actually last night, where me and Kate, my wife, had a really, really great conversation. And it came from a place of, I've been recognizing more that I was not always someone that was super, super anxious to be around people. But in this last year or two, I've started to develop that, and going from an extrovert to struggling to understand what does it mean to be an introvert has been difficult, or at least how it's felt for the last year or two.
Sure.
And I've noticed even when it's people that I love being around, sometimes the anxiety of just spending time with anyone and leaving my one place of safety, which is my home, can be overwhelming to the point of literally, I know you understand this, Steven, like, an hour or two before it happens, all of a sudden I can be hit with waves of nausea, and my head can start hurting, and I can just go from feeling great to feeling horrible in no time. And then it's time to leave, and I just feel so bad. That's like, want to go. I don't want to do anything other than lay here and close my eyes and hope that I feel better. And it's been getting the best of me lately. And that definitely sucks. Like, I want to be able to listen to my body, but I also don't want to, fall captive to it as well. Mm-hmm. And so I've been trying to figure that out. And so me and Kay had just a really great conversation and trying to find ways of how she can support me, and realizing like I didn't fully know how she could support me. And so I started processing it out loud. And I think that we've had some really good steps. So it's really exciting. And I'm grateful to have a spouse that is willing to listen and figure it out on the fly with me sometimes. And so overall, I'm encouraged in spite of the fact that things have been a little unorganized and a little chaotic lately. But sure. Yeah, so that's me. Rabia, how have you been for the last couple of days?
Well, first of all, I'm happy to hear that you sound like you're in a good place, and I hope things go well tomorrow. And it's awesome to hear that you're like sleeping. I am somebody who suffers from I'm a very light sleeper in general, and it has my entire life. It's never taken me less than an hour to fall asleep. And then if I get if there's a noise around me, then I'll wake up, or somebody turns, or something. I wake up easily. Then it's like another 45 minutes to fall asleep. So believe me, I recognize the how great it must feel to be able to fall asleep. So awesome for that. I've been really anxious for the last. I feel like I've been anxious for a couple of years now, and a lot of it honestly has to do with because I think a lot of it has to do because I am on social media a lot, and then the political climate is like part of my work. One of my podcasts is about following politics closely. But in general, I'm also one of those people who I consume massive amounts of information. I read 15, 20 news articles a day. I always want to know what's happening, even though it's probably hurting my, sanity. But I'm also, and then I had a baby last year, was an unexpected baby. I'm 44 and I have a daughter in college. So doing that whole thing again has been hard. And so for me, it's day to day. It's did I get a good night's sleep? Did the baby get a good night's sleep? Every day is different. And so I've had a few rough sleep night situations the last week. So I feel really anxious lately. And I think I'm a little overwhelmed. I have a couple of trips coming up though. This week I'm going to Tahoe with a few friends for just 2 days. Yeah. Cool. And it should be relaxing, but already there's all of us are on this chat group, and I'm stressing out from everything they want to do. Cause I'm can I just sit in a room and read a book? But hopefully if I can just get sleep, it'll be good. And then the family is, with the kids, we're all going to Europe in a month, and that's also going to be one of those a lot of fun, but oh my god, why do we do this type of trip? So right. But I'll have to say the since Serial happened, my life has, I feel been put in fast forward, and I've just been exhausted for 3 or 4 years, and so at some point hopefully it'll slow down when it's all over.
Yeah, well, we hope that you have, especially with your trip without all the kids, that you have some well-deserved rest, and if you need to take a break and read while everyone else is going around and doing stuff, then we support you in that. And we hope that you have very safe travels everywhere that you're going. And I can't even imagine all the stuff that has been going through. And you're a mom again. Goodness gracious, how do you do this?
I'll be honest. When I found out I was pregnant, I just ignored it for 5 months. I pretended it wasn't happening, and then when I hit month 6, I'm like, oh my god, it's actually happening, and I have to tell people. And I just, I mean, he's an absolute joy. I have 2 daughters, and so it's my first son, only son. Better be my only son. I'm not having any more kids. He's a joy. He's 16 months old, but he is so active. He's hyperactive. He's a really light sleeper. But if he wasn't so adorable, I don't know. I might have to farm him out to his grandparents, but it's just me for now. It is what it is. It's one of those things where, you know what, you don't have a choice. You got to push through it. You have responsibilities, right? That's parenting.
Yeah. Well, please get some rest. We're excited for you to have a fun trip, and hope that you have a whole lot of fun with your friends. Steven, what you doing, man? How you been?
Things were good and then they weren't.
Beautiful song.
Yeah, thanks. I'm really good at writing songs. I should get hired to work for Songfinch. There's an extra little plug. Yeah, things have been going pretty well. Can't complain. I've reached what my wife and I are calling Hell Week, which is beginning yesterday when we're recording this and spanning for a long time. I leave for 2 weeks to go on a few trips on Saturday. And in that time, I have to work all day during the day and then do recordings and edit 5 episodes. And, surprise, I also have to do like 3 weeks worth of work for another one of my jobs. All within the next 4 days. And so it's been a wild day already, and it's not going to lighten up. So I'm oddly fine with that, believe it or not. Like, I'm getting through it fine. Everything is good, minus the fact that Saturday, Steven did a bad. And by doing that, I mean I forgot to take my meds all day. All day. Sometimes I miss, because I take meds, everybody who doesn't know this, I talked about it a long time ago. I take, right now, luckily, I'm only on 2 antidepressants. I take one in the morning, and then I take another one in the morning, afternoon, and evening. And I missed all of them. And so the next day was the literal worst that I've had in a very long time. I was good. And then about noon, all hell broke loose in my body. And I was like sweating and shaking and I couldn't walk. And I was like, it's only been a day without my meds. I don't know why I'm like losing it this much. But the Buzzsprout, the one I'm on that I take 3 times a day, has such a short half-life that apparently withdrawal can happen pretty quickly when you don't take it. And so I was in a bad way, and I ended up like sleeping most of my day yesterday off, which, you know me, I hate doing because I'm like, I wasn't productive. I didn't do anything. I just slept. I blame you, Chris, because I spent Saturday in Winston-Salem with you. But
I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault, buddy.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's just for you. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it's been good. It was just a really weird day.
Did you feel better after waking up, though? Did the sleep help?
It did. Yeah, and well, as did the Klonopin that I took. I did feel better. Like I had rested and like gotten some of it off because I slept for like 2 or 3 hours randomly in the middle of the day, which I never do. I do not nap. See, here's the thing. I love naps, but my body won't let me nap. And so when I nap, something's up. And it was weird. I mean, it was good, but it was also just like, I don't know, it was a really weird thing. I've talked about this on the show before, but sometimes my medication, if it gets unbalanced in my system, I have derealization and depersonalization issues. So like, I didn't understand that the world around me was real. Everything seems like a dream. And I started depersonalizing a little bit where I was like, am I real? Like, is any of this real? Like, it was weird. It was just a weird day.
Over here having like a philosophical crisis over here.
Right? Yeah, it was odd, but I'm on the other side of it, so I will not forget to take my meds again. Good. Like that, because that was bad news bears. But anyway, that's been my mental health this week. But listeners, as always, if you have a mental health check-in you'd like to share, or an idea of how we can encourage you throughout the week, we'll remind you we are not professionals, but you can email us over at isthisadultingpod@gmail.com, or you can join our best friends group on Facebook. And it's an awesome place. There's about 500 of us in there, and it is just a place where you can go and share what's bothering you, and people will talk to you, or you can share a funny gif of a cat riding a turtle. Somebody shared one of those. It was amazing and adorable.
Oh my gosh, I did see that video. I wanted to cry, and I was at work, and everyone was confused while I was making weird noises.
It's amazing. So like, definitely check out the group. It's the Is This Adulting Best Friends on Facebook. You'll be glad you did.
And the cat riding a turtle. Also check that out, please.
Yes. Go find it. And while we're at it, just one more thing. If you haven't seen the video of the cat dressed as a shark riding a Roomba, you're missing out.
That's that's what the internet was made for. I mean, right? That video.
Interesting.
Right? It's so good.
Right, I'm going to make a note of that. Okay.
But anyway, I won't keep going down the video rabbit hole and telling you all the good videos you should watch, except for The Good Boy for President. If you haven't seen The Good Boy, which is the most adorable dog, just basically telling you can do it. I have it saved in my videos on Facebook, and I watch it probably once a week just to remind me, like, you got this. And it's just this floofy dog, and it's the best. I post it in the group probably once every couple months, so you'll find it in there soon. Anyway, we're going to... Chris, what are you laughing at? Are you watching the cat dressed as a shark?
The cat on a Roomba dressed as a shark. Oh, gosh. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Okay.
I don't know what that cat is on because I don't know. I have never met a cat in my life that would do any of that. My cats would murder me in my sleep.
That cat's on some good stuff.
Bump into the cabinets, bump into the wall. Oh wow! All right, that did be some good. We can keep going. Sorry, Steven.
No, you're fine. Well, while Chris continues to enjoy the mental image that has now been put in his head from that video, we're going to move on to our first topic. So our first topic today is a very good one.
It's actually appropriate considering the cat being on a Roomba.
Yes, and we want to talk about messy versus clean. So, Chris, do you kind of want to preface what we're going to talk about?
Sure. Specifically, this is not completely the case, but there tends to be more like two types of people. Some people who really, really prefer some level of organization and cleanliness. Some people can mean that more extreme. Some can mean that more, like simple. And then there are others who go on the other extreme from very, very messy to a little bit of organized chaos or somewhere in between. Me and Steven represent two sides of this. And my wife is on the same side that Steven is. And I realize how often that provides stress and anxiety for them. So I just wanted to talk our perspective as well as, Rabia, like, I'm curious, what type of person are you? And was that changed from your time being a mother? Like, right. As well, like, I'm just curious, were you one way and it did something else, or I don't know. So I just kind of wanted to talk to both of y'all and figure out what exactly.
I'll be honest. I think, well, I don't know if it's so much clean versus, messy. Well, I guess, yeah, maybe that is it. Or unclean. Messy to me, like, clutter is messy, but it's not that it's dirty necessarily, right? So there's like different levels here. But it really does. Clutter really definitely impacts my mood and mental health. And I'll say, like, I am not a super clean freak, but I've always been a fairly organized person. Like, I've always kept my books, like, in a certain eye-pleasing way, and I, keep my cabinets. That's like my ideal, right? Like, and so when I was younger and I had the energy, I mean, like, I was that person who, I was a single mom for a bit. My oldest daughter, I had my oldest daughter, and then I got divorced, and I was a single parent for 4 years. And those 4 years, like, every night, she went to sleep. I don't care how late it was. I would not sleep until, like, everything is clean. The trash is tied up. The white counters are wiped. Like, that's how I am in my optimal state. Only because when it's cleaned up, I feel happy. Like, it actually gives me a real sense of joy. So it was totally for my mental state. I mean, just so I could, feel positive. But honestly, I've had to, over the years, just let shit go because I don't have the energy. I don't have the time. I had a kid in my 20s, a kid in my 30s, a kid in my 40s. And right now I'm just like, are the kids relatively clean and fed? But having said that, there are a few rooms in my house that, like, I always keep, like, kind of rooms where, like, if somebody pops over, I've got at least, one sitting area and, like, one dining area that's relatively clean. But every other floor, like, we have a basement where I'm sitting right now, and then we have the bedrooms on the top floor, and those floors are a wreck, and it makes me crazy. I think about it all the time, and I just don't have, my office is a wreck, and that's not who I am. So it actually, I think, causes a lot of self-hate too. Like, I really judge myself. Yeah. I'm like, what is wrong with me? But I'm so tired.
Well, Steven, I feel like you're going to have thoughts to share about me, so I feel like it's only fair that I start first. Rabia, I really don't want to be, but when I'm being honest with myself, I'm just a little dumpster baby. That's just who I am. I don't want to be. Luckily, I'm not so dirty. I mean, though I would describe it as clutter and the occasional dirty.
Clutter plus.
I used to be, clutter plus. That's a great. And again, I've changed over time. Now, don't get me wrong. There are certain aspects that are still gross, but I don't. Dirty dishes, yeah, they'll still be dirty for a while. Is it possible that sometimes I have a lot of trash in my car from 1 week, 2 weeks, 7 months? It's possible. But I'm not, I wouldn't say that I'm like a hoarder necessarily. It's more of just, I think one thing that we're kind of talking about is for some people like my wife, cleaning provides peace of mind and stability. And when I'm in a clean place, I definitely like it better. I 100% agree. The problem is I don't like cleaning, and cleaning stresses me out, and it's this like obligation of all of these things of reminding things I have failed at and have not done, and that just provides me stress. And instead of trying to solve it, I try and ignore it. And at least for me, I think that's why I prefer a clean, organized place. But I don't know. I think I've been really working to try and organize a lot of areas of my life, especially like my work life, because if I can do it there, then maybe I can start doing it other places. And I've gotten better at it. But I truthfully, it's such like a reminder for me of just every time I realize that I'm not organized at something, it's almost just like a reminder of I'm a failure, which is super sad, but is the truth. And because of that, that's why I find myself with dirty clothes everywhere and trash everywhere and dirty dishes everywhere. And Stephen, who's lived with me, can speak to this more than most, unfortunately.
You know, I faced a lot of challenges in my life.
Oh, God.
Getting laid off for the first time, that was tough. The loss of a parent, that was difficult.
Oh, you jerk.
I blew my knee out in college and was unable to continue exercising and therefore gained about 60 pounds. And it was rough. I've dealt with a lot of hard things, and I've come out on the other side. But there's one thing that I still lay awake at night thinking about. And that was sharing a dorm room with Christopher Grimmett. Y'all, I'm glad to hear that he's changed over time, because it wasn't just clutter when we lived together. It was gross.
It was filth.
Okay, maybe so.
Yeah, it was bad. And so my first roommate, I will say, the year before I
was
started
worse
with you, Chris, was worse in some ways.
Oh,
he was worse in that
dang
he
it.
would literally leave all his dirty clothes on his bed.
That was
and
gross.
his tuba.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
Yeah.
And then he would burrow under them. To sleep.
Yeah, that was always impressive.
Yeah, impressive. He created a new smell. He's discovered a new smell.
Tuba Stank. It's like Hooba Stank, the band.
God.
Oh my God.
Is that a thing?
Oh, that's wow. I haven't thought about
Hooba Stank?
They have one song, and that song is the reason it was popular in like 2004.
I have no idea. I have no idea what that is. Okay, I didn't get the reference. Sorry about that.
it's-
Well, let me ask, between the two of you,
fine.
Steven, do you make your bed every day?
Here's a funny story. I don't sleep in a bed.
Oh, okay. Well,
We've talked about this on the show. I sleep on the couch.
oh, you know what? Can I tell you? My mother has slept on the sofa for most of the last 20 years. So does my mother-in-law. My husband falls asleep on the sofa 90% of the time just because he's like an overgrown child. But I mean, like, it's not even a choice. It's just he cannot help himself. So that's not even unusual. I'm so used to hearing that. Is that by choice?
Yeah, my wife though.
Does not make the bed.
This is a good debate to have for a second. I want everyone's opinion of, should you make the bed each day before or not? All right, give me your reasons.
I mean, first of all, I don't like getting into a bed that's not made. Getting into a bed that's made, that it just feels, I don't know. There's something, getting into an unmade bed to me is like, I'm just like, already my night's ruined. It's already ruined. So a clean, like tight, fresh made bed to me is, but also I feel like when I get up and I make the bed, and honestly, it takes literally like a minute, 60 seconds to make your bed. I feel like I have accomplished something already in the first minute of my day, even though I might have piles of like laundry that needs to be put away and all kinds of, diaper. I mean, I have all kinds of clutter happening. Just having that one space that I'm like, I took care of it. Because it's easy and it's fast. I don't know. And there's this book, and I can't remember the name of the guy who wrote it, but he's like a retired, I don't know, a retired lieutenant colonel or something, or Marine or something like that. He wrote this book, and the whole premise of his book, he's got like these rules for success. And the first rule is like, get up and make your bed. He's like, it sets the tone for the day. That's not what convinced me. I read that out, I mean, just recently, but I don't know. I just kind of believe it.
Well,
you don't
Stephen,
agree.
I know your opinion of this as well. So here is my question that I would ask each of you. One, do you tuck in the sheets? Like, do you actually put the sheets in when you make the bed?
Okay, I don't use flat sheets. I hate flat sheets. I can't deal with flat sheets, so they don't have to be.
Wait, flat sheets?
Yeah, because flat sheets have to be tucked under, right? You have a fitted sheet, and so I have a fitted sheet on my. I have a mattress pad, which is really nice and comfy. Then I have a fitted sheet, and then I have my quilt, and that's it. And so there's no flat sheet that has to be tucked under.
Interesting.
Yes. Top sheets are the most useless, ridiculous thing that society has ever convinced us was normal. Yeah. Because tucking them in, you're essentially in a very, very small pocket. And I don't
Some
like
might
it.
say a hot pocket. Who is
I don't
warmer,
like it at
me
all.
or the melted cheese? That's a legitimate question. I don't know.
Those are like suffocation chambers.
top
There's just
sheet.
no reason for it. I don't know anybody who likes to get into a tightly tucked sheet. Well, maybe there are. I don't know, but not me.
Okay, that makes me feel better, because here has been my biggest issue with always making the bed. I hate walking or like getting into a tucked bed. Like the way I sleep is I already kind of run hot as is. Mm-hmm. And so I always, no matter, like if I go to a hotel or something, the very first thing that I'm doing when I'm getting in bed is untucking everything.
Yep.
Because I have to be able to move. And a lot of times I have at least one of my legs out, for extra air, because apparently my legs need to breathe. But
I'm the same way, because sleeping in a tucked bed is a living nightmare.
Yeah.
But so because of that, that's the reason why I'm so against making the bed.
Just get rid of that sheet. Just go with fitted sheets. Forget the other one.
Here's the problem, though.
There's no problem.
I'm complicated, and one thing that Stephen can speak to is I do this interesting thing where I cocoon myself.
Oh, God. I forgot.
Where when I got married, this had to change, and so I had to find a new way to adapt. But I literally would take all of the sheets, wrap them around my body, and each morning I would be birthed once again as a new creature to greet the day.
Please don't say it that way.
I will say it time and time again. Each day, Mother Nature would birth me from her womb to enter back out into the world, and because of that,
you need those sheets.
Yeah, that's my problem. I'm going to mess it up so much that it was like there's no reason to. It's going to be chaos in the first 10 seconds of me being in the bed, and I might as well just deal with it. It's a losing battle for me, and because of that, that's the only reason why. But my wife does love it, and I feel like every time before, like she's learned over time that I'm really bad at it. But most nights before we go to sleep, I'll find herself like remaking it, and then I'm like, all right, I'll try, and I feel guilty, and I feel like I should help, and I'm like, I'm sorry, the reason why this is messed up is because of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I've faced a lot of challenges in my life.
Oh my gosh.
No, but legitimately, there were times living with Christopher Grimmett, because I am a neat person. I grew up in a house with and I don't throw this term around lightly.
Yeah.
I grew up in the house with a diagnosed obsessive compulsive father. And so I pick up little things, little traits from my dad. And so I like things straight and neat and in their place.
Steven, I can tell from the shelf behind you because, when Chris said one of us is clean and one of us is not, I was like, oh, I know which one's the clean one already. I can see the shelf behind you.
You can see the open.
In order.
And I can see your closet.
Yeah, I was gonna say behind me is this nice organized shelf.
It's great. I want you to come organize my shelves.
I would love that. I love putting things in their place. My wife is a theater teacher, and I literally spent hours and hours organizing thousands of plays into alphabetical order.
Oh my God.
Because she needed the help, and I love organizing. So, like, living with Chris, oh God.
It's like a 70s sitcom is what you're pretty much describing.
Yeah, it was The Odd Couple. It was Neil Simon's The Odd Couple, because...
Yeah.
Chris, my favorite thing was I would clean the dorm, 3 or 4 times a week?
The problem is I wouldn't know that you would clean the dorm. I would just be like, oh, it seems cleaner. That's nice.
Yeah, no one would know that I cleaned the dorm because I would finish cleaning. I'd spend 2 or 3 hours doing it. I'd just be like, yes, clean dorm. And I would relax on the couch. I'd lay down. And no sooner had I laid down than you would come in and just kick one shoe in one direction, throw your bag across the room. And then
trash monster.
I cried. My favorite, though, was we lived together for a year in the dorm and then 2 years in a house. And that first year in the dorm, as we were getting ready to move out, there were dishes that Chris had microwaved, which, first off, you tried to microwave the first time we were in the dorm together. You tried to microwave your dish with a spoon in it. Had to stop that.
Hey, we all make mistakes. Not all of us were smart earlier in our life.
You had microwaved your Chef Boyardee ravioli, which you ate a lot in the dorm room. And you had microwaved it in this plastic bowl, and there were probably 3 of them. And you had stacked them and just left them on top of the microwave.
Oh, God, I forgot about that.
We moved out roughly 8 months later. They were still there.
Oh my God.
They were not salvageable. And rather than try to clean them, Chris's solution was, we'll just chuck them. And so you tossed them that was your solution to dirty dishes. You threw them away.
I'm a little better, I promise. I don't know.
It's hard not to be better.
There's only one way to go up from there. No, but you know what I realized? Having my 2 daughters, they are polar opposites when it comes to this thing. And I realized I used to think it's about how you're raised and discipline. But even with me, I'm the eldest of my family, and then I have a younger sister. My sister was always really dirty and filthy. Her room was a room that we locked when guests came over so nobody could look inside. And then between my daughters, my eldest, they've both been raised in my home, but just from the jump, my eldest is really messy, unorganized. It's just her room. If I open it, it gives me anxiety. I get stressed out. I have to keep it closed. Well, my 9-year-old, so much younger than my elder one, she's so much more organized, proficient. And I just feel like it's a person, you're just kind of born with it. I used to think nurture. I think it's just really nature. And so what do you do? If you're just like that, you're just like that, right?
And it's tough because sometimes you live with one of them in college and you think, I'm free and I'm good. And then you marry your spouse. and you realize it doesn't get much better.
She's probably better than I am, though.
Christopher, I'm just going to, this may pick up on the microphone. I'm just going to shift my camera here a little bit, and you'll see these are totes that are in my office. Those are Christmas decorations that have not been put away yet. Now, for those of you that are listening, we are recording this July 9th of 2018.
Better prepared than sorry. That's
Yeah, I'm not.
what I've
We
always
shouldn't
said.
even put them in the attic at this point because we're just gonna get them back down.
No point. Christmas is right around the corner.
Yep, just another
Gosh.
5 months, and we'll be there.
No, but can I tell you, this conversation has inspired me. I am leaving on Thursday for Tahoe, and I was trying to think, like, I have so many things I need to do, like my to-do list. I've decided for the next 2 days, I'm just going to put all my work stuff on hold, and I'm going to I'm just going to organize and declutter a couple of, like, my office and a couple of spaces around the house that when I get back from Tahoe, it will just put me in a better state of mind, and I can just get right to my work. Because I really feel like just being surrounded by this stuff, it's hard for me to, like, I'm not even as productive. So thank you guys for giving me this clarity.
I was hoping that you were going to say the opposite and say, I've really been inspired. I'm going to take all this clutter. I'm just going to throw it away.
No, I should though.
I know I
want
might
to be a
need this,
minimalist, but I can't. I can't let go of stuff like books and I just can't. I don't know.
Oh, gosh.
Yep. I have loads of books, and I keep collecting them. So I'm a monster. Anyway,
We're monsters in different ways.
yeah, aren't we? Well, hey, we're gonna take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more Is This Adulting? This episode is brought to you in part by Songfinch. So we talked about Songfinch last week. It's a personalized gifting company that brings stories, feelings, and memories to life through one-of-a-kind radio-quality songs. With personalized songs starting at $99 and delivered within a week, their community of professional songwriters will handcraft the best gift you can give. And so, Chris, we actually got the song that you had written for your friend this week. Tell me a little bit about that.
It was awesome. Our friends just had a beautiful baby girl, and we wanted to surprise them with something fun. So just kind of like a song written to her from the perspective of her parents, and it was just a really great thing. Like, she loves it. Her entire family loves it. Everyone has the ability to download it, and we're really grateful for the experience.
Yeah, and that's a really cool part of it is your song lives on a personal URL called your story homepage. So you can listen to the song, download the song, read the lyrics, learn about your songwriter, and share your song with your friends and family, just anybody you want to, and they can download it. It's really, really cool. And so this is good for any event: weddings, anniversaries, birthdays, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day, Christmas, newborns. Let's just say Flag Day. You need a Flag Day song.
So.
And so, yeah, you definitely can check it out. And if you want to get a song, you're in luck because we have a promo code. So if you go to songfinch.com and you get one of their personalized songs from scratch, then you can use our code ADULTING and you'll get $20 off your personalized song from scratch. So, hey, go do it. Thanks, Songfinch. All right, we are back. And it's everybody's favorite time of the show. It's game time. Christopher, what game are we playing this week?
Well, I was inspired, Rabia, us both being New York bestsellers, and us both being such avid readers, you being a counselor, so to speak, and me being, I just would say a overall scholar would probably be the best way of describing me.
That was my assessment of you, certainly.
Yeah, okay, good. I'm glad. That combination has made me realize that it's time to play a good old game that we haven't played. It's been a couple months, I think, where I find some really, really strange books that actually exist in the world, and you have to try and figure out which one is real and which one came out of my brain. Okay. It's a game that we call Shelf Awareness. So it's pretty simple. All we have to do is I like that pun, Stephen. Thank you very much. Shelf Awareness is quite funny.
Love it. It's great.
Yeah. So we're going to go section by section. The way that I'm going to have people do this is I'm going to have you buzz in. We're going to buzz in with our traditional buzzer for this game, and that is the standard librarian shh is your buzzer.
Got it.
And so what I'm going to do is I'll tell you what type of genre it's in, and then I'm going to read both titles as well as like a quick little like sentence bio of what exactly it is, and then first person to buzz in, I select, and you get the point.
Sounds good. I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right, here we go. Our first section, we're walking into the library and we're going to the cooking section because, that's a nice section to go to. And so Is it Cooking with Poo, a fabulous collection of Thai recipes with a unique twist? Or Why Animal Urine is the Best Broth, a hunter's guide to cooking with all of nature's parts?
There was a shh.
Oh, I buzzed in. I buzzed in.
You did?
As soon as I heard urine, I buzzed in.
Okay, so I like how all you needed was that. So you have heard both. Your choice, Rabia. Which one are you going with?
Which one is real or which one is fake?
Which one is real?
Oh, the Thai cooking one is real. And I don't know if you pronounced it right. Did you say poo?
Cooking with Poo, yes.
Can you spell that for me?
Well, let me tell you, you are correct. It is Cooking with Poo, and and the way it's spelled, and I definitely could be wrong here. The way it's spelled is P-O-O. Her first name,
you're right.
Her first name seems to be that. I have attached so you can kind of look on our chat. You can kind of see it.
That's
and anyone
fantastic.
who wants to see it for themselves, you can go to our show notes and you can see all these books. It seems like a very awesome name where she was just like, look, let's lean into it.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Like,
Their publishers are like, let's just go with it. We're just going to run with it. I love it.
Yes. Sadly, I'm so sad to say that Why Animal Urine is the Best Broth is unfortunately not real. But I was hoping someone might buy it. But you got it. The first point. But it's still anyone's game. And now we have to move on to the next section. And this is the section that I'm sure everyone has found in their library. I call the section Sexy Automobiles.
God, okay. Automobile erotica. Let's do this.
Is it Love, Sex, and Tractors, where part sex therapist, part tractor lover, this book seeks to find those readers who could use help in both areas of their life? Or Ass is Stint Principal, School Bus Drivers After Hours. Shh. Hold on, I didn't finish reading. Romantic fiction novel that tells the story of what happens when well-mannered teachers are off the clock.
Oh my
Steven,
God.
now which one are you picking?
It's the first one, right?
It is.
Yeah.
The first one is a thing. It's real. I'm very alarmed.
Oh, it is. It is. It is quite troubling, actually. Pretty much what he has been described as is
Cover.
no.
Oh my God.
is a humorist / actual. They gave him like a mix of like that. You remember that woman like Dr. Ruth or whatever her name is,
Yeah.
from like the TV shows and stuff. Pretty much, he has a bunch of weird, like they're all tractor related of some sort, but this is just one of his. So yeah, I don't know what else to tell us except for that's a real book. I mean, let's see if I can find you a little bit of a detail just to give you the full. So humorist, tractor guy, and aspiring sex therapist, Roger Welsh, offers up the vital information men need to walk that fine line between a happy life and your significant other, and a couple of sheds full of well-oiled machinery. That seems awkward. You learn the ins and outs of the great tractor road trip. Boswell Flick's dating guidelines. I don't want to trust anyone whose name is Boswell Flick. The magic of tools, the religion of tractors, and the secrets of women's school. I want to imagine this man has no idea what women's school is, and he definitely doesn't have a degree from there. So if you are interested in a very uncomfortable read, then it seems like this is the perfect choice for you.
It makes a great gift, people. It makes a great gift.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. We live in the South. I mean, everybody probably wants a copy of that.
Yeah.
Also,
Yes.
just a little piece of trivia that you may not know. Dr. Ruth speaks English, German, French, and Hebrew.
Wow.
Go Dr. Ruth.
She knows her stuff. Mm-hmm. She knows that love is the true international language, and so she embraces
Love
that
in every
fully.
language.
Oh. All right. So the next section we're going to, you are tied up 1-1, is we're going to the biology section, and get ready for two very interesting book titles. Is it Twice the Holes, Twice the Mess? a comedy book about scientific oddities found in animal research, from birds with 2 buttholes to lions with a goatee. Or Does It Fart? A collection of small essays explaining which animals do and don't fart. Steven.
The first one?
I'm sorry, it is not.
Oh, do I get that point by default?
You do.
Yes.
You get the point. So it is actually Does It Fart? It is.
I was leaning towards the fart book. I'll be honest.
It is. It's very simple. It's literally just a very, very large collection of 1 to 3 page articles where each one is like, pandas, do they fart? Yes or no, and then it explains.
Why does it take 3 pages? That's a list.
Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of some examples. See if I can find some. Dogs do it. Millipedes do it. Dinosaurs did it. You do it. I do it. Octopuses don't, and neither do octopi. Spiders might do it. More research is needed. Birds don't do it, but they could if they wanted. What? That's interesting. Yeah, so pretty much this is a zoologist who just, their teenage brother asked one day, hey, do snakes fart? And they didn't know what to say, and so they went on this long journey.
Do what fart, Chris?
Do snakes fart?
I thought you said sticks. I was like, no.
Sticks. They do in their own special way.
It's a profound question, I gotta say. I think my 9-year-old would love this book, actually.
Yeah, I think it's a believe it or not, I'm surprised that you're not best friends with this person, Rabia, because it is also a New York Times bestseller.
It is. With a title like that.
Yeah, well, especially it's very recent. It came out a couple months ago, so
what?
It's quickly become a standard in most households. And the best part is there's a bunch of fun pictures of different animals and they're farting, and that's the end. But you should definitely go and check that out.
Makes a great gift. Yeah, I'm gonna my 9-year-old. She's a girl, but she's obsessed with farts. So this is it. I know what she's getting for her 10th birthday.
Good.
She's gonna be a future zoologist.
She loves animals. This will be great.
But she specifically is a zoologist that only knows about flatulence and nothing else. It's a very specific field. It's very highly
specialized.
So we're now moving to the 4th section. Stephen, this could be your time to come back. I call this the spooky section.
Oh boy.
Is it? How to Raise Your Kid to Be a Vampire. A parenting book advocating for a new form of child rearing. Or People Who Don't Know They're Dead. Non-fiction book that describes those who are not even aware that they've passed to the other side.
Shh.
Rabia.
I think the first one is Rabia. I think the first one is real.
You are incorrect. I'm so sorry.
Oh my God. It's brutal.
It is. Yes. I'm glad I was able to trick y'all. It is actually People Who Don't Know They're Dead. And you know what? That's actually not the full name of it. I knew if I gave the full name, you would know that it was real. So let me just quickly read the full name to you. People Who Don't Know They're Dead, how they attach themselves to unsuspecting bystanders and what to do about it.
Oh.
They did not cheap out on the amount of words that they wanted to use to describe this book. That's the only way I can really describe it. And better than me describing it is me just kind of showing it to you. It's just a very, very interesting experience altogether, where it's just pretty much it's...
How is this a book? How can somebody write an entire book about this?
So...
You'd be surprised.
I've tried to understand this, and I don't know if this is like a sincere, like, what is it called? And what is their investigative? It's like, I can't remember. It's not paranormal investigation. Like, I don't know if it's that or if it's something else. But whatever the case is, pretty much it's just a lot of stories from people that they didn't realize
who didn't know they were dead. I mean, I just want to know what the research methodology here was. And as I do this, I'm actually looking it up to see if they have a Kindle version, because I am a little bit.
I just like the cover.
I see it. It's for $8.99.
Because on the cover, the girl on the left is just looking at the girl on the right, like, Linda? Linda, are we dead?
A point of clarification, Linda. Are we or are we not dead? Also, that's a horrible voice that I just came up with. I don't want to do that anymore. Well,
Oh my god.
we've got
Yeah,
right
it's
to
on
the end of
Kindle.
this. And so I can't think of a better way to end this than this very last section. It's 2-2.
Oh, I thought it was over.
No, it's not over. She missed it. So it's 2-2. So whoever gets this, either by getting it correct or by missing it and giving it to the other, will win the game. The final section. It's a section that I call Feline Frisky. It's like, you get it. It's not the best pun, but it's all I can do. And it's one of these two cat-based books. Oh, God.
Is it How to Teach Your Cat About Gun Safety again?
No. How to Make Your Kitty Purr.
No.
An unfortunately named book about the historic practice of cat massage in certain cultures. Or
Brilliant.
Fashion Cats, a book of photographs of famous cat models displaying the biggest trends in cat fashion.
I think we
Ooh.
both did. We both buzz in at the same time.
Both at the same time.
Stephen, I will. As I'm going to defer to you.
Wow. Okay. All right, Steven. So that's a lot of pressure.
I'm not supposed to win the game. I never do. Is it the kitty purr?
It is not.
Okay.
I knew it.
It is not. Thank the Lord. I have to admit, I don't know if I'm pleased with myself or I'm very disappointed that I was able to come up with that name. But
I'm disturbed.
But yes, that is luckily not a book. Even though, I know animal massage is a real thing. No, it is Fashion Cats. It is actually a very, very popular book in Japan. It's considered
God.
one of the top coffee table books.
The cat has hair.
It's super simple. All that it is literally these cats that they're very famous cat models. They do not. It's something crazy. Their minimum pay for a shoot is $10,000.
Oh my god.
My
Yeah, I
lazy
don't
ass
understand it.
cats,
And so it's just
man.
all different types of random cat.
I have got to get a cat.
I've
Yeah.
got two, and they're just deadbeats. I mean, they need to be bringing in some. They're both beautiful, but yeah.
My thing is, hey, Japan, you haven't seen me rock some of these outfits. I'll do it, and I'll do it for $100.
You will wear that
truthfully.
pink hat, the pink hat,
I'll
and
be
the,
way
that-
more cost-effective.
The wig.
Oh yeah. I would pay to see Chris in that outfit.
Yeah, I would as well. As most people would. As messy as I am, damn, do I not wear a good cat suit? I've had. Now I've changed. I've slightly changed. Never mind. We'll get away from this. Rabia, congratulations! You have won this episode. What am I trying to say?
What do I
this
win?
round, so to
Edition.
speak. Edition. There we go. That's the right word. I'm very good at words, I promise. This edition of Shelf Awareness, how do you feel? Are you more accomplished by this than your bestseller?
I am really glad that I let Steven take the hits because I just sat back and let him do the work. No, I feel good. I feel like my day has ended on a positive note, but I also want to know what I won.
You're in luck. You've won a $10,000 cat. We're making the investment as a podcast, and it will take a while for us to get there. But when you do, it will be the most beautiful cat you've ever seen.
I'll wait. Awesome.
You've won a Kindle version of People Who Don't Know That They're Dead.
Oh, you said I was reading the reviews already. I am intrigued.
No, what we should do is we should get your daughter the Does It Fart book,
Oh my
because
God.
that would bring her a lot of joy and she would learn a lot of scientific things in the process, and that's what you should win. What's funny is you were the very first person that's ever asked what they won. And that seems
I
strange
feel
to me
like
that
a
we've been playing
horrible,
games for this
greedy-
long and no one has asked that question.
I'm such a greedy, horrible person.
No, that's a completely understandable thing. It's a game. Usually that ends with some type of prize. Unfortunately, we haven't thought that far ahead. Or No, this is what my gift to you is actually. I will leave this recording and I will go and find a room in this house of mine and I will clean it.
Oh my God. Good for you.
Which is a true sacrifice on my part.
Yeah.
Which is all we can give you because we're very poor.
That's fine. But you know what? Look, don't do it. Don't do it if it doesn't feel good. Only do it if it works for you. That's what I would say.
No, you've won the game. You've won the game, and so this is your prize.
I'll take it.
I have to work slowly to that $10,000 cap, and Kate is just going to keep paying me every time I clean a room. So that's how we're going to do it. But yeah, if any of you were interested in any of those books, please go to our website. isthisadultingpod.com. Just go to our blog. You'll see the show notes, and you can look at some of these really strange books for yourself and possibly even become the owner of one. Enjoy your time reading. Please let us know how it goes because I don't want to read them. I'm too afraid.
All right. Well, we are going to move into our final topic of the episode. And for this one, we're going to get serious, have a little serious conversation. So with this topic, we typically on this show, as folks know, because I do want to give just a preface and content warning for folks who may want to, feel as though this is not a conversation that they're ready to listen to, because I know it can be triggering for some folks. We're going to be discussing religions. And so we typically steer away from a lot of political talk, a lot of religious talk on the show. But this just was something that we were really interested in having a conversation about, and especially sitting and talking to Rabia and getting kind of varying viewpoints on it. And so we're going to be talking about how different religious communities kind of view and approach mental illness. And I do want to say, as we're going into this, we're not experts. This is opinion. We are not promoting any specific religion, nor are we condemning any religions or things like that. That's not what we're here to do. We're just here to have a conversation about the religions that we have been a part of, and just how they've approached mental illness. And so for me and Christopher, I know we grew up in Christian households. I have a religious studies degree with a specialization in Hinduism.
Oh, wow.
And Chris, you have a master's degree in divinity. And so...
Such a
so
bold, broad
awesome,
term for it to say.
Right? You have a master's degree in divinity.
MD, that's awesome.
Yeah, so you've got that. And I know, Rabia, you are Muslim. Mm-hmm. And so we just kind of want to... I have no degree in
it, but yes, I am.
Yeah, well, I don't have a degree in any religion that I practice. I just know things about Hinduism.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, so we're just going to have a kind of discussion about that. And yes, we're going to keep it respectful, and it's not going to be anything like that. So don't worry. I just wanted to preface before we got into it, because I know for some people discussing religion can be triggering. So
yeah,
that's what's about to happen.
The thing that I would say, just so, Robbie, you're fully up to date as well as anyone who might be newer to the show. In the Real Talk episode that I did, however many months back that was, you can kind of hear a little bit more about my story. But pretty much to help people understand, I've been fairly to pretty active in Christian churches, a specific denomination for about a little over half my life. And I actually became a pastor of two churches, and unfortunately, just a lot of difficult situations came up. Some had nothing to do with me, some that slightly had things to do with me, and unfortunately, between that and a few other really triggering situations, specifically within just communities of faith, I quickly found myself dealing with this anxiety and dealing with these struggles of mental health that I'd never really experienced before. And so as I began to start experiencing these struggles for the first time, while still being present in a specific Christian community, I started becoming far more aware of what was accepted, what wasn't, what was easy to be able to talk about with other people, what wasn't. And And so, yeah, I think I just wanted to kind of share a little bit about my experiences also. You know, Robbie, I wanted to hear your experiences and just kind of see mental health is something that's not easy for anyone to talk about. And I know that can be the case, especially in many religious communities, not all,
absolutely.
but many.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to kind of hear some of your experience, because I think it's going to be hard for some people to listen, but I also hope that maybe not necessarily healing, but at least comforting to know other people have had shared experiences, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I will say this, and I think, you know, like I said, I don't have a degree in religion. I am a practicing Muslim. I have grown up in a very rich interfaith life. I mean, it sounds so formal when you say it like that, but basically what I'm saying is I grew up around with, you know, loving people of all kinds of faiths, like my best friends. Like, it was just never, because my family's from South Asia, and like the South Asian subcontinent, it has a lot of religious diversity: Buddhists, Hindus, Sikh, Muslims, Christians, very, very few Jews. So like that's very rare to be around. But all of these other communities, I mean, like they share the same culture, the same language, but they're all different religions. So I did grow up around people of a lot of different faiths. And what I come to recognize in my adulthood is that honestly, all of our religious communities have pretty much the same kinds of people, the same kinds of social problems, the same kinds of blind spots when it comes to like real world issues that need professional attention. And, you know, I'm pretty sure, you know, what I can say about, and there's also a distinction between like what the religion is just as by itself versus how people practice it and what it becomes because of their own culture, because of their own misogyny or bias, or what patriarchy. I mean, there's so many filters that mangles, like, you know, like the original and you know, the whole point of the religion, like, you know, it just turns into something that becomes a tool, and even used, you know, to empower people and to humiliate people. And I know that when it comes to mental health in the Muslim community, I've seen this firsthand, where people will, and sometimes it's deeply religious people, which is also really problematic, because, and I make that, there's a difference to me between like spiritual people, who I think are generally very kind people, and deeply religious people who are often very dogmatic and just kind of literalists and rule oriented. And those are the people, and I know plenty of them, I'm related to some of them, who will judge mental illness as a judgment from God, as a sign that you are not doing what you're supposed to be doing as a good Muslim. Are you praying enough? So the scripture, like the scripture of the Muslims is the Quran. And, you know, in the Quran, there are passages that say things that, you know, like in this book, there's healing. And it's the whole point of that is not that if you're sick, read the book. It's that the words there are supposed to be a way for God to help heal your heart, right? To show that God is there and he loves you. And there's a being there, that you're not alone, even if you feel alone. But it's certainly not a prescription for illness. But people use it like that. So, and then you have quacks. We've got quacks who'll be like, oh, okay, I have a relative. I had this young girl who is diagnosed schizophrenic. And I can't tell you, like, you know, the things that quacks have told her parents. She's, you know, you got to read these verses and recite this and then throw this holy water on her. And, you know, that she's getting the evil eye from people. I'm like, no, she needs meds, you know? And it can become life-threatening, because for a while her parents refused, and these are educated people, but they refused to do it. They refused to put her on meds. They thought that would really make her sick. She did things like jump out of 3rd, 4th story windows, you know what I mean? And so I've seen this play out in a lot of ways. Depressed, oh, that means you're not praying 5 times. I mean, you see this over and over and over again, and it's like a hammer, a cudgel, right? And I think it's just a way of trying to control and humiliate people, to say that, you know, it's a judgment. And at the end of the day, if you were to really try to like dig down and find, is any of this like authentically part of the religion? Can we go back to like scripture and sources and anything say that, you know, that anywhere in any of the original sources that God says, if you're not well, it's like judgment against you? No, none of that exists. It's just people can be evil. And so, but the thing is this, you know, I know all this intellectually, and yet And yet, because I've grown up in it, I have a severe resistance to getting counseling and other kinds of like mental health need that I know that I have, because I mean, I've been through some pretty traumatic experiences in my life, and I've just trudged on through them. And even the ones that are 15, 20 years old, I'm like, intellectually, my head says to me, you really should go talk to somebody about that. But I can't bring myself to do it. So that's another part, is that people don't seek professional help. It's really detrimental.
Yeah.
Right. And I know, just based on what I learned, and I did some more reading coming into this conversation, but based on what I learned when I was studying in school, there's this concept that's really a very strong basis of Hindu faith. And I'm not an expert on Hinduism. I'm not a practicing Hindu. I'm not at all saying that this is the belief of the majority of Hindu faith. Again, I think in every faith community, there are groups where it becomes that judgmental view. And that's true of Hinduism as well. There's this idea called the Purushartha, and it's very important in the Hindu faith. It's the idea, it's these 4 pillars on which you kind of form the way you live. And so it's Dharma, Kama, Artha, and Moksha. And so most people know Dharma. They've heard the term Dharma, and it's kind of like your virtue or your religious drive. And so they all are different things. You know, Moksha is like liberation. Artha, I believe, is the acquisition of wealth or recognition, kind of your social needs. And so you get to this point, and I was doing reading about it because I was like, I wonder if those play into it. And the one thing I discovered is if one is pursuing Kama or Artha too much, which are the physical needs and social needs, and you're not fulfilling your Dharma, because in the end, your Dharma comes down to like your duty as a person. And so it's, if you're fulfilling these things and not your religious drive, not this, then the long-term result is suffering for you and for those around you. And so they view mental illness as a punishment, as that sort of suffering that's been put upon you because you are not practicing good Dharma. And so that's that same kind of thing that I think in every faith community you have that group that's like, this is on you. And I read a study while I was looking at this, which makes me feel so official. But I still am fascinated with Hinduism, obviously. And I read a study about mental health within Hinduism. And a lot of it is this idea that because of that religiosity actually plays into poor mental health, because now people are thinking, it's on me. I've done something wrong. I'm being punished. I'm broken. I'm bad. I'm not good enough. And it messes with their view and their concept of religion, and it really drives a wedge in between them and their faith, and it actually has such a negative impact on that faith community. And so it was really interesting to kind of take a look at that. I can't remember what website I found it on. It was a big, like 40-page study. I didn't read quite the whole thing, but I read a good bit of it. It was on a education on a university website, but it was great.
These religions are ancient. Okay, they predate, like modern psychology and psychiatry and understanding physiology. I mean, by millennia. And so there's no, we have, it's like, why would I check like the Hindu Vedas or the Quran to figure out how to like fix bugs in my computer? No, I would not, because that shit didn't exist back then, right? It's like, so I feel like it's just people using it and interpreting it the way they want to in order to get a certain result. And people get exploited a lot. And even in the Hindu community, I know this. You go back to the quacks. I mean, like, people end up paying these like quacks and saints and all these fake, like, this doesn't exist maybe as much in the West, but it really exists in the East a lot. These societies are just pervaded with all these fake clerics and priests who will, oh, your daughter's having seizures, or your son's having seizures, and you bring him in, I'm going to pray some stuff on him, and you're going to pay me like, thousands of rupees or whatever. And so it serves their need to keep it like that instead of saying, oh yeah, take him to the hospital, right? So it's and I'm sure it exists in Christian communities, especially certain kinds of Christian communities. I don't know to what extent in Jewish communities, but I bet you in like the ultra-conservative, ultra-Orthodox, there's also a lot of judgment about people who are not well. I know, like, I've always heard, oh, you're sad? It's because you're not grateful. Like, count your blessings and all everything, and there's something to be said for that, but it doesn't address, like, if there's a real, physiological need your body has.
Yeah, one thing that I've spent a lot of time reflecting on, really for the last couple of years, it started when I was getting my master's. I was very fortunate enough to be able to be in a few, probably some of my more formational classes, which were interfaith classes, and one of the things that one of my teachers, who was the campus imam there, one thing me and him kind of talked some about that I've continued to think about is just this idea that kind of permeates and I wouldn't even say it's just within religion. It's just even goes greater than that. Than as a culture, no matter what culture it is, there is this underlying still. We're supposed to do good or be good. Now that can look very different in a lot of different type of ways, but for most people, there are ethics and boundaries and social morals, like morality, whatever that might be, that you should and should not break. And anyway, the reason why I say that is because, like, from that, so often I feel weakness is always associated with negative attributes. So anything that could be perceived as weakness, one, must be bad, and two, another thing that I've experienced in my own specific religious communities and from things that I've heard you say, Rabia, as well as others that aren't here in this moment to be able to speak about their own communities, so often I've noticed when I've been struggling, or I've seen someone else who was either in a more serious diagnosed place or dealing with depression or anxiety or whatever it might be, so often the person who is critiquing them, it's almost as if what makes them feel so uncomfortable is when it's brought to their attention this other person's struggling, they almost have to internally think about the fact that what they might be struggling with as well. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're projecting.
Yeah, that's the thing that I know, that when I was specifically, my job was to do the best I could to try and counsel people and provide support and just listen to people. So often the things that I would hear is when someone would talk about that, or so the whole idea of like, are you not praying enough, or are you not doing these things, or they're repeating back the things that they quote unquote know they're supposed to be doing, but they don't want to think about it too much because they're actually also, if they think about too much, then they're realizing all the things that they're not doing, and they don't want to do that, so they'd rather encourage someone else to this is what you need to do. And so I don't know. I think that something we've all kind of talked about is what is so interesting for me, that the role that religion, or just faith in general, whatever that might be, can have, where it can provide so much healing or so much damage when it comes to mental health, is specifically, I would say religion is the place where, in theory, you either are raised or are made to believe that this is a place of safety,
right? That
this is the one place,
and maybe the only place.
Yeah. If the only type of place. And I'm not suggesting that it's not. What I'm suggesting is, I think, in my experience as an example, feeling that for so long, and then all of a sudden struggling in a way that the community around me didn't know how to properly care for me. And so they were trying to say niceties in order to make me feel better, but it just hurt more. I mean, that's the example we talked about before of the people that, they lose a child, they lose a family member, and then someone says it's insert God's name here, it's their will.
Right.
And that causes more pain than anything else, because that safe place and that safe bond gets broken in that moment.
Yeah.
And I think that's why faith can have so much power for good and for bad. And that is an example I've shared in our Real Talk episode, but something that I'm even dealing with is I struggle so I'm a practicing Christian who finds it difficult to even literally physically be in a church, or really any place of worship space, because right now there's so many triggers and so many like landmines that as I walk in, I'm reminded of 7 different things of how I've been hurt, to where it's almost traumatic for me to be in there. And that kind of starts really making you think, like, well, if I can't be there, then am I failing altogether? If I'm failing altogether, what am I in the first place? And since so often faith has such a deep part in people's life, whether it's an organized religion or spirituality or whatever it is, to have a big part of your identity be shaken and potentially being threatened to no longer exist is detrimental. It's just as much of a shock as of losing loved ones. It's a different type of shock, but the same idea is the community and one area of my life that my identity was based in is now no longer either there or no longer the same. What do I do now? Who am I without this identity, without this community, without whatever it might be? And I know those are the things that I've been struggling with, or at least I really have struggled with, and I'm still trying to process now, but it's something that I think is a good conversation, and it's amazing to me how often people of faith do not realize the power they wield or yield, both in good and bad, and being able to help provide healing for people, or to even do more damage, because we live in a world that does enough as it is,
I think religious communities and congregations and, any kind of religious circle, they have the power to do tremendous damage. It's because it is a very vulnerable space. People do go there seeking something, needing something. And so it can be manipulated to really hurt people in that situation. Sometimes, like you said, it's inadvertent, not on purpose. I know for me, it's interesting. There's this word or phrase. It's about being unmasked, and a lot of younger Muslims, last couple generation Muslims, at least in this country, are finding themselves kind of unmasked, because the mosque as a space is not fulfilling all of these different kinds of needs, and it's not accepting people where they are, and accepting the realities of like young Muslims living in America, right? And so I've been a mosque for many years. There isn't a mosque that I feel like that I belong to. I don't reject, and beyond that also, when I say my Muslim community, and about 5 years ago, in a way, kind of excommunicated me in a way, very publicly on social media and stuff. But it was because there's been many stories in the last few years, and of course this exists in every community, where you have like religious leaders who are sexual predators or are otherwise unethical or whatever. And I don't believe in covering that stuff up. I believe in telling the community that you have to be aware of these people. And so I've written some articles. I would share things on Facebook, on whatever, and people really hated me for that. And then I made this really cardinal sin. I took part in a program, and I visited Israel a couple of times, and I studied with a Jewish seminary for a year as a fellow. Just because, well, I mean, there's a lot of reasons I did it, but that was like a breaking point for like kind of like the broader Muslim community in America, like the organizations that used to invite me, this and that, and they're just like, oh no, you crossed a red line. And it was very painful and hurtful, and it made me also kind of have to re-examine my relationship with God and where the community played into that. And I've just come to the place where I realize people are people, right? They can be lovely, they can be terrible, and I will not judge my God and my religion based on how other people who are part of the faith, treat me or others, because they're just people. And so, but yeah, they have a lot of power.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we talk about the power, as you both mentioned, just for folks out there in internet land, we're not all condemning here. There's a lot of good power too.
Definitely.
I believe in religious and faith communities, no matter what they are. People within religion, as long as it's not being warped and used for hate, religion is a place where people find hope, people find comfort.
Oh, yeah.
And most importantly, in my opinion, people find community. Mm-hmm. Because for me, a lot of my spirituality and the things I've set my whole life on revolve around being in community with other people. It just becomes so important. And so I don't want to at all sell short the positive impact on mental health as well. While there are parts of every community that view mental health in kind of a warped way, there are also large segments of those communities that view it as something that people should be treated for. There are organizations within communities. I know within the Christian community, and Robbie, you could speak to this for the Muslim community. There are organizations within those communities that help people get counseling, help people find therapists, help people get medication. So it can also be a very positive thing. So we're not at all just being like, everything sucks, and it's...
Yeah, no. I completely agree with you, and I you're right. But I would say the Muslim community is slightly different in its respect because the majority of the Muslim community in the United States are immigrant communities. Okay, so the communities themselves, the mosques, the institutions, the organizations, maybe they're 50, 60 years old. They were established by like my parents, my grandparents, you know what I mean, like our elders who came from cultures where once again the entire idea of like counseling and therapy and all they just didn't exist then, and to a large extent they don't exist now. And so that level of sophistication is happening with younger generations. It's happening slowly. I would say in the last 10 years, I've seen the emergence of Muslim organizations that do address like, victims of violence and sexual abuse and all kinds of like different, types of issues that people face. But it is still not that readily available. Like there's a few national organizations, but on a local level, it's still very, very hard to find. It's very hard to even find in our community, like marriage counseling. I mean, like if you want somebody, because there are a lot of Muslims who want to go to somebody who will do the marriage counseling from a Muslim faith-based perspective. It's like, I know like 2 people, 3 people in the country. Like it's not, we're not at that level. So we're way behind, but I think it's a generational thing. I think in a few generations, that's going to change very much. We will have a lot more resources for us. And, Raza, I don't know if you know who Raza Aslan is, but he's a Muslim who wrote a great book about Jesus, by the way. But he used to have, he had a CNN show that they canceled because he tweeted something about Trump. And I can't remember what it's called. It was called Believer.
I know what you're talking about. Yep. I know exactly who you're talking about.
So I think he hits the nail on the head when it comes to religion. He said religion the religion of any person is really about that person, right? So religion looks one way when it comes through one person, just because that's their personality it's being filtered through, whether they're an uplifting person, a kind person, a generous person. That's what their religious faith is going to look like. And that same religion can look really oppressive and terrible through a different person. It's all about it's what people bring to the religion, not what the religion brings to them. So, but I completely agree with you. I mean, I believe in the power of faith and faith communities, and that's why I'm still in it. I'm still there.
Right. Well, I know that's a bit of a stray from our standard conversation, but we definitely had to take advantage of the fact that we have differing views here between my studies and my weird who knows where I'm at, and Chris is having a degree and being a practicing Christian and you being practicing Muslim. I was like, we have to have this conversation. I mean, we've got 3 viewpoints, and so I feel like it was a perfect, cool time to do that. And so I appreciate y'all having the conversation. I appreciate listeners that y'all hung in there with us and hung out. It got real academic at one point.
I mean, we are a New York bestseller, Stephen. What did you expect?
That's true. Yeah, I mean, wait, am I on that list now?
Why not? Sure.
Yes.
In this fantasy world that I've put myself on there, it's only right that you enjoy.
Sure. So I'm going to put that in the podcast description from now on.
Rabia, does it make you upset that you have a co-New York bestseller that wrote a book called Does It Fart?
I'll be honest. When my agent contacted me and said, you made the New York Times bestseller list, and it's going to sound terrible, but in my head, I was like, that's nice, but like so did Twilight. And so did like really the kind of stuff that I just can't even read. I mean, like, 50 Shades of whatever. For me, what was more important, but I'm happy. I'm very proud of it. And I'm mostly happy that people are reading Adnan's story because it's about him and it's his contribution. What I was more interested in was whether or not it was going to get good critical reviews. Like, would it get a star from Publishers Weekly and all the other, reviewers? And it did. And so the critical reviews were much more important to me than the New York Times bestseller list. Although, hey, it's nice that until I die, I can put that on my resume. It feels good.
That's true.
And hey, like I've already told you, that's some good writing.
Good writing.
That's some good writing right there. So
I did the forward for Does It Fart, so in some ways that's why I consider myself one as well.
Nice.
It's just one word. It just says yes.
Yes, I do. Enjoy the book.
Well, we're going to start winding down, but if you have a topic for discussion you'd like to send us or a mental health check-in, we'll remind you again, we're not professionals, clearly. We just talked about a book called Does It Fart? But you can send that to us over at isthisadultingpod@gmail.com. You can follow us on... that wasn't English, y'all. You can follow us over on Twitter at @isthisunderscoreadulting. Chris is at Chris Grimmett. I'm at the Stephen Pappas. You can follow us on Facebook either at the show's page or in the Best Friends group. It's a great place to hang out and meet new friends. And we've got people pouring in there every day now. It's really exciting to meet all the cool new people. And last but not least, if you love us, and how can you not? I'm the baby. Gotta love me. Go hang out with us on the iTunes. Give us one of them reviews that you do. Shoot us a review, a rating. 5 stars, please. Please love us. It really helps people out. So, and it takes like 2 seconds. Takes 2 seconds. You can do it. I believe in you. We would like to thank the collection for the use of our theme music, The Borrowers, off their album Ars Moriendi. Rabia, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. I had a great time.
Do you want to remind everybody where they can find you?
Yep, I'm on Twitter at Rabia Squared.
Concise. I like it.
To the point. Well, I mean, as such a wonderful writer, she's learned how to be concise in her time. So hey, Rabia, I have to ask. I know you were nervous at the beginning. This was a conversational podcast instead of a scripted one. How are you feeling about it?
I feel like I conversated okay. I don't know. You guys tell me.
Did.
You got to tell me how I did.
You did a great job.
Well, all these listeners will tell you how great you did.
All right, cool. I'm excited to hear it when it's up.
I'm so pumped. Well, that is going to do it for us here on Is This Adulting this week. I've been your best friend, Stephen.
I've been your best friend and New York Times bestseller, Chris.
I've been your best friend, Rabia.
See, she didn't have to rub it in. Anyway, and remember, kids, be happy, stay healthy, and go hug someone.
Because you never know. They may have just learned that they've been dead for 40 years.
Oh, no.
You'll have to read the book to find out.
How many times have we ended the show on the Twilight Zone music?
Quite a bit.
Quite a bit. All right, have a good week.
Bye.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.